friends, it's Nancy, and I'm here to show you a new item that I'm putting in my Etsy store. So I've been working my tail off making these ephemera packs with a vintage sewing theme. So I've made 24 different ones, and I'm just going to show you a few examples, and then I'll tear one apart so you can see exactly what's in here. But each one will contain some papers, some book pages, different pieces of page elements that I've made, genuine ephemera, like where are you going to find a brassiere repair kit, buttons on cards, fabrics, things I've made, like remember when I did those shaker cards. This one has a button jar in it. Vintage trims, all kinds of different things. And I've tried to sort of keep things in a color range that matches so that you can create something, create a project from what's in here. Also included, I've got a little vellum envelope full of bits and pieces for collage, and I fussy cut some models from vintage sewing packages. And movies so I can sit down. So a couple I haven't taped closed yet, and I thought, okay, well, we'll take a look at two anyway. So this one contains blue, red, and turquoise. And I'll just pull this out of the package. I'll tell you what you can expect to find in every one. You can expect to find one of these fabric samples. This is for men's suits. You can expect to find some vintage fabric pieces. These are from a quilt. And there's also some pages that I made from sewing instructions, and the folds and any previous folds have been reinforced with tissue. Here's a double page from a sewing book, from a different sewing book. This might be, I think this is the same sewing book, from a third sewing book. This is from a machine instruction book. Another sewing book. There's some little cutty parts. So there's a piece of notepaper. It says, "A stitch in time saves 9." Here's a little vintage magazine advertisement. This is from a children's encyclopedia, and it shows these women are doing handwork sewing. This is from a little sewing book. This one is from another sewing machine book. And then I've got some more pages of the instructions. Okay. So I've got these paper dolls that are cut out of the paper patterns. And in this little envelope, there's more paper dolls that are fussy cut. This little envelope I made. Here's some other bits and pieces that are cut from envelopes. little tag, some numbers and things. That's from a sewing book. That's from a spool of cotton. Just some little words, and pictures, and some more paper dolls, and some backs of packages, of vintage sewing packages. So that's what you're going to find in that little envelope, so that you can do your own collaging. Isn't that pretty? If I can get her in there, we're going to be all set. There we go. Next up, as I said, there's some little paper cuts from, and there's a sticker, has stitching on it. So this is from a printed sewing themed scrapbook paper. Here's a vintage sewing card, needle card, sorry. Here's a little booklet that I made by taking this needle card and lining it with ledger paper, and then it just closes like that. There's some buttons, some snaps. Here's a tag I made with vintage seam binding and some buttons. Some more cards of buttons and hooks and eyes. This is a little bag that I made out of these glassine bags that came with a sewing lessons, like the materials you would need to complete the lessons were put in these big bags that had little images like this on it. So I cut these with my die cutter and made these little envelopes. There's these little vintage trim butterflies, and this has got this is just a little tuck spot that I made, and it just flips up like that to write on. There's a little girl there, and then it closes and tucks behind this label from a spool, cotton spool. So that's one example. I'll show you another one, and every one is different in that the stuff that's on top, the paper dolls and what have you, it's all one of a kind stuff, but it's all similar. But we'll take another look at this. So again, there's collage bits. Here's some lady models cut from patterns. This is a vintage zipper packaging with a vintage zipper in there. This is a label from a sweater, and I just I sewed in some tea-dyed paper and added some cloth and lace and a little charm there, and some eyelets, some buttons. Here's another needle card. Here's another flippy tuck spot. There's some more of that vintage trim. This, I believe this is bias tape. This is mending wool card, but I've put some ledger on it and stitched around it with white thread. Another button card. This is a needle card, but I added some craft colored paper there, so it can be folded, and if you just cut around here, then you can slide this edge under this little cutout part here. You can put a little picture there, but it can be used just as a journaling space. These hooks and eyes. Here's another suiting sample. This is a page edge that I made. Here's some more fabric. So there's some bright fabrics in there. Definitely vintage. This is a page from a magazine. Here's some more little stickers and little cards that were cut from scrapbook paper. And a little note. And again, here's some paper. Sewing machine instructions, sewing book instructions. These are all double pages. More sewing book instructions. Here's little sewing book instructions. And then some more of the sewing instruction pages. And these sewing instruction pages, whoops, they're cut 8.5 by 11. So they can go through your printer. I have definitely printed items onto, in fact, this little envelope. Maybe there isn't an envelope in that one. Is there an envelope in this one? Yep. So this little envelope template, I printed it onto pattern paper and then cut it out and folded it on the lines. But you know, you can layer up some stuff and, you know, make a little collage there. And you're all set. So like I said, I have 24 of these. If this is something you're interested in, go to my my Etsy shop. The link's below in the comments, or sorry, in the description. And I can't take any special requests in terms of which pack you want. It's very much going to be a surprise pack. So thanks so much for watching. And I do have more things that I want to share that are being added to my Etsy shop, but let's just get this going. All right, take care. Bye-bye.